Right, so Collision Summer Blockbuster was last night, a 2.5-hour show. Fucking straight off the bat, much better than Dynamite, so much better. Let's talk about it. Good shit, good stuff to talk about. Let's talk about it. So, the show actually opened up with what I thought would be the main event. It was not. It was Kenny Omega versus Bad Dude Tito, who is, from what I found out, is part of the TMDK stable with Sabre Jr. And they come out to the actual good theme. Oh, bro, that Young Punk Sabre Jr. theme pisses me off. Obviously, this is the build Sabre Jr. and Kenny's match at Forbidden Door. The match itself was fine. Kenny looked good. I didn't really get a good look at Bad Dude Tito here. I thought it was... The match felt like... I don't know how long it was. It felt like not even 10. But it might have been just because I was watching it first thing as soon as I woke up. I do feel like its problem was... I wanted to see a bit more Bad Dude Tito, but obviously Kenny's going to look good here. Kenny did look good here. He looked quite effective, let's say. I don't think he looked quick, but he didn't look poor. Like, Kenny's been great for the last few months, I think. Some people tried to say the MJF's match with him wasn't great, but I don't know, I kind of enjoyed that. Point is, the match was fine. Kenny does get the win as you expect. There's not really much to say about Bad Dude Tito, which was kind of a shame. That was one of the big things I was looking forward to, is to watch this guy and see, you know, what he shows up like. We didn't get a Sabre Jr. appearance or even a vignette. I thought we were going to get a vignette, but we don't. After this, Kenny gets the mic and he calls out, well, he doesn't call out, but he just basically says, you know, he just reiterating that he wants the World Championship, and he wants to, you know, he's just got to start from the bottom and keep going, which he has been doing, obviously. And then he says, and then he gets this wonderful message on his front door for Sabre Jr., and then he goes, the people might not know how good you are, Sabre, he might not even know you, and he puts over Brian, and there's Nigel, even Nigel on commentary, and he's like, and you're part of that, and I not to know why, and I can't wait to face you. Says Sabre, watch out. It calls out Max, saying it's only a matter of time, so obviously they're still building that as they should. And he does the good night, bwah! You know, all that bang, all that stuff. But, yeah, that was the Kenny appearance. I thought we'd get a bit more. We don't, but that was fine. The show was kind of stacked, and obviously you don't want to give him too much time. I thought they'd do something for Dominion, which I'm going to watch Dominion later today, so I'll make a little pay-per-view video on that. But I do feel like that was a missed opportunity. You could have done something small, but then I realised the amount of time. I think this was pre-tape, but I'm not positive. But point is, match was fine. I'm going to try and see if there's any more Bad Dude Tito stuff. I hope we get something going forward. I thought they were going to set up something with the Elite and TMDK for next week's Dynamite, you know, just before Forbidden Door, basically to go home. But I don't know if we're going to do that. I feel like, again, a lack of Bucks and Kenny interaction still pissing me off, frankly. But overall, Kenny getting minutes good. Bad Dude Tito, hopefully see him again. That was the main thing. But yeah, honestly, whatever they do for Sabre Jr. and Kenny, I'm going to be all for, because that is going to be incredible. After this, we actually get Kyle, Fletcher, and Mark Davis backstage. Obviously, Aussie Open. It's on Callis Family. And they're calling out, obviously, Takeshita, following his, obviously, you know, the turn on Takeshita and, you know, saying he's been in our lives too much, we need to get rid. And Kyle calls out Takeshita as expected and says, you know, we're going to be coming for that belt. And then Okada shows up, and Okada's like, Kyle, I agree, we need to bring the belt back. And then they're all happy, and then he goes, Pro Okada, and Kyle goes, Pro Okada. And Davis just looks so awkward. Just basically confirming, you know, what everyone knew, they're going to be gunning for the international belt off Takeshita. That'd be a triple threat that they should run. Definitely Okada, Takeshita, and Kyle. That would be incredible. But, yeah, obviously you got the steel cage stuff with Max. Kyle and Takeshita are going to be a part of that, clearly. So, yeah, definitely going to be building that. Just an announcement. Davis being there was just kind of funny because he's just dead awkward. But, yeah, that's definitely something we're building to, as they should. After this, we actually get our first TBS Survival of the Fittest Eliminator match, which was weird. So basically to eliminate... It's an eliminator match for the Survival of the Fittest match. That it is of Hikaru Shida versus Zayda Steele of Skyflight. This match was pretty good. Shida obviously looking the better, you know, a lot more aggressive. Zayda Steele was definitely... She's definitely prominent, but not as much. Shida's got a school. Like, Shida's a 3-time champ. You know what I mean? Zayda Steele's good, but, you know, I like the fact that they gave Zayda Steele minutes. I think Zayda Steele's pretty good. Every time we see her, I think she has striking's her main attribute. And she's got that, you know, she's got that charisma. Shida obviously schools. Christopher Daniels is there. You can hear him throughout the match going, don't give up, Shida. Don't give up, Zayda, and all that stuff. The finish was weird. It was a submission finish, but she didn't tap. And it was like, even the tap, so like, Shida gets, I think it was basically like, I don't even know what the hold was. I don't want to say it was a crossface, but it felt like a crossface from what I remember. And it's a submission finish. They do, like, the ref rings the bell. But it was, Zayda Steel doesn't tap, at least when I saw. And then when it, like, shows the angle, after it, when it goes wide, after it's already been rang, you see Zayda Steel tap very lightly, and it's like, I don't know if that was the case. I don't know what that was. But Shida gets the win, obviously. I thought we'd get a promo, but we don't. Pretty fine. Shida going to be in there. I'm kind of upset that it isn't Zayda Steel in there. Like, I get why. Obviously, you're going to have Shida beat Zayda Steel. But I feel like Zayda Steel could have been a good call, because the TBS for me, the problem is with the AEW women's scene is, it's very stacked, but it's booked like shit. Let's just say it how it is. I do feel like you could have elevated someone like a Zayda Steel to a bit more prominence, because they do need bodies. They do. It's the same people all the time, and like, it's fine, but it's also like, you could see it when Mercedes and Tony were both injured. Obviously, Mercedes back now, and Tony's off still. So it's like, it's kind of the same people. It's always, and I'm not complaining about it being Shida and the stats. Obviously, they're some of the best in the company and the world. But it's like, Zayda Steel, someone like a bit more interesting, add a bit of like, a bit of a shock in there, a bit of a like, oomph, you know what I mean? That's what I feel like it needed, but I don't know. Either way, the match was fine. Zayda Steel goes get a good show off. Shida's obviously in there for the TBS title in 2 weeks' time, I think. So it's a while away, but point is, Shida being in there, stats could probably be in there. So yeah, either way, sets up the TBS stuff good, and Zayda Steel back on TV, pretty good. After this, we actually get the Ops backstage. Anthony Bowens, Shibata, and Hook. And Bowens is cutting a promo, as he would say, and Lexi, it's the pride of pro wrestling. He goes over, as exaggerated as Bowens is. And then Hook goes, what are you doing? This is the Ops, we're about killers, very serious. And it's like, and Bowens like, okay, whatever. And then he goes, and then it's weird, like, Hook's just on some shit, and he's still pissed at Bowens. And Bowens goes, what the fuck, like, we're day, like, because he basically says, we're day ones, me and Shibata, not you, you're the new guy, don't forget it. And then Bowens is like, what the fuck's up with you? We've been day one for years. And then Shibata says some weird shit, and it's like, what? But Shibata can do whatever the hell he wants. And then, like, there's clearly some animosity, and he's basically saying to Bowens, you need to be a killer. I want Bowens to slime Hook out, definitely. And then before he goes, Hook goes to Lexi, whenever you speak to the Ox, you speak to the Ox. When you ever speak to the Ops, you speak to me. Even the crowd go, ooh, and I'm like, Shibata, do something. It's you. It should be you. And then he walks off, and then even Lexi is like a bit weird, and he goes, don't worry about it. So there's still some shit. Joe, it's only been like 2 weeks. I miss Joe like hell. I miss Joe. Yeah, get Hook out of this damn faction, I beg. After this, we actually get the Rascals. In this instance, it is Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier versus, it was Austin and Aaron Atlas. Definitely didn't look at that just then. Point is, it was a showcase match, is what you expect. The Rascals are great, they're over as hell, and it's really fun, as you expect them. The athleticism for the pair of them, I mean, Jesus Christ, especially Zachary Wentz. I mean, how they move, and we'll talk about Myron Reed, obviously, in a minute, but Jesus, the Rascals are just incredible. They get the win. It's obviously a showcase. I've always liked the finisher where it's like they do it. He does it basically a 450 just standard, and then you just push him. I always love that. I just think that's funny as hell. They do get the win, and then they get the mic and they go, the Rascals, we're glad to be back, all shit like that. And then he goes, yeah, but we think Cincinnati deserves to have all three of us. So they introduce Myron Reed for his next match, which is pretty stupid because it's like, okay, you're going to play a different theme. No, it's the exact same theme. It was really weird. Myron Reed looks all for it. He's pretty cool. And then, obviously, his match is next against Kevin Knight, the TNT champion. And Don Callis, obviously, with Kevin. This match was pretty fucking good. Really good. I mean, what you expect from Desmond Xavier and Myron Reed and Kevin Knight. I mean, Jesus, they're so good. Kevin Knight obviously having that bit more vicious, a lot more strike heavy compared to what Kevin is. He's a lot more like, kicking you while you're down type of deal. But I mean, Myron Reed, Jesus wept. What a wrestler. I mean, the bro goes to the ramp, runs in the ring, does a cutter on Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight goes to the announcements table and he does it again. Oh my God, the cutters that Myron Reed's hitting is absolutely insane. He is a joke of a wrestler. He's so good. Oh my God, I think genuinely with Myron, he's he's really the one benefiting from the singles, as you expect. And I've always been like, I don't know, because I think Desmond Xavier is pretty damn good. And obviously Zach Vince, I think they're all as good as each other. But you watch it and you're like, oh no, Myron Reed's like incredible. Like, he's really, really good. And this match, it was a perfect blend. It's a perfect styles, because they're very similar in the high flying and the speed. Like, that's what you need from Kevin. That's why he works with the Speedball matches, clearly, is, you know, they can match the speed, they can match that type of tone. And with Myron Reed, he is capable of that, clearly, and he shows it. It's fucking very good, honestly. I wish we get more of Myron Reed. I'm surprised. So this is the problem I have with the Rascals. The Rascals are brilliant, and they really are. But for me, how they're not in that trio scene is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. Because they're right there. Like, they're over as hell. They're fun in ring. I just think it's the most... I don't know how they're not. I do think they're brilliant, though. I do. I think Myron Reed steals the show here. Kevin Knight, as you expect. But Myron Reed specifically, I mean, he is incredible. I cannot wait to see more of him. But yeah, match pretty good. Kevin retains, as you expect. But Myron Reed steals the show. Kevin Knight's obviously on some shit. Not the last we'll see of him tonight. But yeah, you know, it's still Kevin Knight. And he's still brilliant, obviously. And the TNT reign shall remain. After this, we actually get a Maya Wade vignette where she talks about, obviously, the loss of her brother before last week. And, you know, how her win. And then she goes on about saying, you know, Athena's basically her mentor, you know, obviously teaching her. And then it cuts to Athena backstage. And because obviously Maya Wade says, you taught me everything you know, everything I know. So end of the day, you know, if I face you and you get beat by something that you taught me, that's ironic as hell. Then Athena's backstage and she's like, you know, I'm proud, I'm sorry for your brother. At the end of the day, I taught you everything you know, but I've not taught you everything I know. So, you know, basically, know your role and shut your mouth. You know, it's genuinely what she says, essentially. Essentially. Fuck off. And, yeah, so after that, Athena walks out and she has her squash match. She has her showcase match, as we call it, versus Tiara James, who I don't know if she's an indie or, you know, Ring of Honor, whatever. I've never seen her before. Athena, as you expect, she's just so hard hitting, as you expect. Athena's great. I'm just glad that she's on the roster a bit more. There's a whole we've had a conversation about Athena a while ago, and I think it's still relevant. She's brilliant. She's great. You just need to utilize her more. And they are getting there, obviously, with the Owen. But Athena with the backstage segment, obviously, with Maya Wade, that's a big deal. But building towards that. Oh, yeah, because after the match, she attacks Tiara James. She wins, obviously. She attacks her. And then she's attacking her. Then Maya Wade runs out, which I thought was silly. Why didn't you just do the Maya Wade promo in ring? You know, they could have done that. But whatever. And then Athena runs off away from Maya Wade as Maya Wade's taking her out, you know, checking on Tiara James. Then Athena runs back out because she left the belt. And I thought they were going to lift the belt. I was like, oh, fuck, you're really going to do that shit? And then Maya Wade's still checking on her. And Athena comes in and she does basically a BFT onto the belt. And that was, that looked brutal. Really well sold. And I like this. I don't know what, obviously, I assume Athena's going to win. It makes no sense. But with Maya Wade being in there, I'm glad that she's getting this elevation. I'm glad that she's getting this opportunity. I thought we get an appearance of Hyan in some way, but not. We don't. So obviously that's something. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm surprisingly look forward to more their match more and more. That's what's wild. I didn't expect to be looking forward to the Athena and Maya Wade match, but I am now. I think this will be really fun. They've really built this, even from like the weekend, even from this small bit with the little prior knowledge. And honestly, everything with Maya Wade, you wanted to do well, so yeah. But point is, I like this a lot. I think it was really well worked. Well sold, that BFT specifically. This will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And obviously, always nice to see Athena. She is great. After this, we actually get the Demand backstage. And basically, Ricochet saying, look, he's back off his bullshit with Jericho. And, and I lost my national title in that gauntlet. It's bullshit. And now back on my quest for gold. And I'm thinking, okay, are you going to claim for the trios titles, which should have been the plan from day one? The Demand, oh my god, the Gates of Agony are just incredible. And Ricochet too, oh, you got to do it. But no, he calls out Takeshita too, which all four, Takeshita and Ricochet had a banger of a match. I think that was Full Gear. It was after the triple threat with Ospreay. That was incredible too, obviously. But when Ricochet's portrayed like that, I do like it. I think he's brilliant as a comedic heel, but I think when he's in a serious singles competition too, he's brilliant. The Demand don't claim anything. I thought the Gates of Agony would be like, what the fuck, we should be going for the trios belts, but they're not. And I feel like that's the big thing for me. The Demand, I said this about, obviously, the Rascals a minute ago, But Jesus, the man need those trios belts. That's just made for them. But point is, nice to see Ricochet. I feel like I haven't seen him in like 2 weeks, but I like Ricochet and him and Takeshi there. Anyone after Takeshi there, those matches are going to bang. After this, we actually get the Dogs, David Finlay and Clark Connors versus the Bucks, the Young Bucks. The match was good. The match was good. It's what you expect. It's a Young Bucks match. It's really fun. I do think... I'm not getting into the Dogs as a tag. I just think they're better as singles. I think Clark Connors is the clear star of this match, as you expect. I just feel like... And the Dogs win. Straight up, the Dogs win. I didn't like that decision. I didn't. I think the Dogs should have lost. I think that would have been a bit more interesting. We don't get no Copen Christian appearance, which I thought was a bit harmful as well. I just feel like this is just kind of being... okay, we're just going to wait for them back. And it kind of makes you think, should we have given the belts to Copen Cage? But... I don't know. I do feel like the Dogs are good. Clark Connors specifically, I really like Clark Connors. But it's just like David Finlay is kind of there. Obviously, the Shillelagh is involved. The Bucks are the fluidity. I mean, how they move is insane as a tag. Like, the Dogs are great. Clark Connors' spear is obviously always just built up like hell. He's obviously got the matches. It's like, what the fuck? It's a wild match. It is very wild what the Dogs expect, but it's wild, but with nothing in it. You know what I mean? It's sad to say, but I just didn't really click with it. That's my problem. But... overall, it's a good match. It's what you expect from the Bucks. As you know, clearly the Bucks' whole thing is once you've seen one, you've seen them all in the best possible way. But I just feel like, I don't know, I wouldn't have had the Bucks lose. I think the Bucks winning would have really changed things, and then you could have possibly set up another match, you know, maybe with a stip like a Cincinnati with the thing on the line. But I don't know. I think it was a good match. I just didn't agree with the decisions and the booking, but you know, that's wrestling. Either way, the Bucks are great, as you expect. Clark Connors and David Finlay, I think there's just something missing, specifically with Finlay, but there's just something missing for me, and that's what I just don't gel with the matches. I hope they get a bit more singles, and there is something we'll talk about with the Dogs, which was reminded, obviously, in a promo later, but yeah, the match was fine, the match was good, as you expect. I just didn't agree with the booking, and that's kind of all I had to say. It's kind of a nothing big out of a match to talk about, to be honest. After this, we actually get a conglomeration backstage. Well, in this iteration, it is Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Ishii, Big Town. And they're basically hyping up, saying, look, how great is it? We got a match on for Forbidden Door against Max, you know, with Briscoe. And once we win, Briscoe can win the belt. And he says, hey, if that involves conglomeration people or not. And then Roddy goes, no, it does matter. Because Kyle's basically like, it doesn't matter if it's any of us or not. And Roddy's like, no, it does matter. I hate Max. And it's like, well, I love the enthusiasm. Ishii just stands there as he does, like, so cool. And then Kyle basically says, like I said before, big, next thing is will be world champion Briscoe. And I noticed Roddy shake his head, so there must be something there. And no, Cassidy was a bit of a shock. But obviously, they reveal their teams next week. I expect Roddy to be on it. Same with Kyle. Honestly, I hope Ishii's on it. But yeah, this basically, I think there's going to be small setup with Roddy. I think Roddy could do some shit on this match and to cost Briscoe. And just with that little head shake, but I don't know if that's just me reading too deep into it like a wrestling nerd. After this, we actually get Tony Schiavone on commentary, and he's issuing an apology to Stardom for Tekla's actions. Then Tekla goes, no, whoa. And she basically says, Tony, don't apologize to them for me. Fuck that shit. I'm not apologizing for anything. And then she goes, let me stand up. And then everyone's cheering at, and she goes, Stardom, end of the day, all these Joshi little girls, you know, you're nothing on me. I hate it all. I hate you, Okada, the president. And she basically makes the challenge to go, look, get Okada, send me your best. I'll put my title on the line against them, and we'll show who is the greatest mistake you ever had, and that would be me. And we do get a confirmation who it is, which is pretty fucking cool. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, fun promo. Tekla's just on top of her game, bro. She's so good. Like, I mean, there's very few in that company like Tekla. Best woman in the company by a mile for me. I said that a while ago. Stand by her. She is incredible. She's had the best Forbidden Door build out of anyone. Even Ospreay, she's had the best. That's how good she is. Incredible. After this, we actually get the Bang Bang Gang backstage. Juice, the Guns, and Ace Austin. and basically go, you know what we did with that $200,000 that they won a few months ago? You know, the $200,000. And Colton's like, you want 200 grand? And he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter though. We invested it and we opened the shop. It was Juice Robinson's dog extraction. You know, basically, you know, we're gonna basically neuter the dogs to give a longer, convoluted name. Ace Austin just goes, that was available. That was funny. And then Juice takes off his sunglasses and he's got his normal glasses on and goes, well, the dogs, you know, you gotta have you. Speaking like Briscoe now, and he's just like, you know, back on his crackhead shit, saying, you know, we're gonna neuter you, we're gonna neuter Dave, and you're gonna have to wear a cone, you're gonna have to clean each other, and then you're gonna have to do the same with Gabe. You know, just calling the dogs out as you expect. And if you've got a problem with that, guns up. I just like the fact that the Guns are here. They should have had a match in my opinion, but either or, I just like the Guns, and I like, obviously, the Bang Bang Gang. Juice is on some fire form. I just can't wait for this whole faction to just kick on again, because on their day, they're absolutely one of the best in the company, bar none. Love the Bang Bang Gang. After this, we get our second AEW TBS title match. Well, title Eliminator, Survival of the Fittest match, whatever, between Julia Hart and Persephone. Now, like I said in the preview, there was an idiot online saying Persephone's been buried. Where the hell are you now? Because you don't have a damn clue. Because, frankly, with Persephone here, she really sells the fact that Julia was the one that missed her eye. The match is fine. Persephone carries, as you expect. She sells the eye injury still. And Julia Hart's doing that whole bullshit. I'm not a big fan of Julia Hart, if I made that clear. And what I do like is, toward the end, Persephone's still suffering from the eye, and she really takes the anger out on Julia, saying, this is what you've done. She goes, thank you, Julia, you know, for all the aggravation, as you expect. As the aggressiveness towards Julia Hart, which is obviously well worked. Julia goes to get the mist, and when she gets the mist, she's ready. Persephone's obviously been selling, so she didn't see it, and she just smacks Julia, and the mist flies out. Oh, it was incredible. And then that's how she gets the win. Persephone obviously is just, she's brilliant. I don't know how much I've got to say. Persephone is absolutely incredible, and I'm glad that she wins here. Obviously, that means she gets a chance at the TBS title for the Survival of the Fittest. I wouldn't be against her winning that. I think she should. Obviously, she's walking out, Julia Hart's walking out, she's waving by, and she goes, thank you, Julia, all that shit like that. She's really aggressive. Persephone's just the fucking, oh, she's so good in ring. Like, the match is fine. Like, the thing is with Persephone, she looks great here, as you expect, but with Julia Hart, it's kind of hard to have any sort of rhythm. At least to me, it just kind of exists, but again, not Persephone's fault. Julia Hart just isn't the type of person to really have that great chemistry with Persephone personally. But Persephone and Shida alone, that's just going to kill. That's going to be absolutely incredible. I think Persephone should win the TBS belt. Either way, I'm glad that she wins here, and I'm glad that it was against Julia Hart to, you know, kind of put that mist thing to rest. That was pretty well worked. I really liked how they incorporated that. After this, though, we actually do get our confirmation of who Stardom will be sending to face Tekla, and it is Starlight Kid. Now, I've not seen any Starlight Kid. Obviously, I'm going to assume, you know, if you don't know, Joshi Dragon exists. He makes great Joshi videos. He'll have a video on here. I'll make a match ramble on Joshi Dragon, because she has had a previous match with Tekla. So it just basically gives us a little showcase on Starlight Kid, just for your vignette. Then it cuts to Tekla backstage, and she's reacting to it, saying, Starlight Kid, you've been sent you. End of the day, mean you've got history. I don't like you. I don't like Joshi. Basically, bring it on. This is going to be a cakewalk. Shit like that. I'm looking forward to this. Again, the way they've built this is incredible. I really do love how they've really built the Tekla stuff. I think it's been the best Forbidden Door build by a bar none this year. And yeah, Starlight Kid is even I know, like, even though I'm not seeing the matches, that's a big get. That's a big deal. So hopefully there's more Joshi on the card. But either way, glad the Starlight Kid, that's a really good wrestler to get for Tekla. And obviously the history works. Big fan. After this, though, we get our co-main event, well, second main event, whatever. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Jake Doyle of the Don Callis Family, obviously formerly Jake something. The pair of them obviously have history in DPW and TNA specifically. They were tag champs together, and obviously you can see that chemistry through the match. Kevin Knight is on commentary. He's on some bullshit, as you expect, calling out Speedball every 2 seconds. I thought this match was really good. I don't think it was incredible. I feel like you can tell the chemistry and the history between Speedball and Doyle. That's the big thing for me here. You can really see that it's really like apparent in the screen. I do think how Jake Doyle slams Speedball and the kicks. It's a great match. It really is. I don't want to undersell how great of a match it is, but I feel like as an actual there's no stakes in it. That's the problem. Because before the match, Speedball, like in a little sad screen-by-screen vignette, he basically says he's going to take down the entire Don Callis family one by one to basically prove Kevin that he can. The crowd is screaming Speedball's better. Kevin's just talking bullshit on the crowd. And what I do like is Jake Doyle's strength. They show Jake Doyle as a new theme, obviously, so that kind of give the result away. But I do like how Speedball is portrayed here. I think there's a lot, like, Speedball's great. We all love Speedball. Speedball's got that seriousness in him, but he's obviously a lot more kind. I like how he's a bit more stern now. I like how he's a bit more determined, and I think that really works for him. I think that's excellent. I think Speedball looks good. Again, the kicks, everything Speedball. Again, you can see they've got history and just great matches with each other, with Jake Doyle. So that's what you could really tell. It felt like just a solid-ass match. It's not like the most insane match, but it's really fucking good. And I think that's what it needed to be. I would like to see this ran back with a bit more stakes, admittedly. There's a brutal powerbomb he does to Speedball on the apron. And Kevin Knight's like, yeah, give me some of that. It's all funny as hell. And Doyle does get the win, that shocked me. Like, I think even McGuinness was on commentary. He goes, oh, he got him. I was like, oh, fuck, he actually did. So, I don't know. I just didn't think that was I don't want to say I didn't think that was the call. It just kind of puts Speedball in a really tricky position now, I think, because of Kevin. Because he was going to go through the Don Callis family, but, he's lost on the first hurdle. So, I wonder how that's going to go. I hope they just don't really just, leave Speedball behind, because the guy's great. He's over as hell. Everyone loves Speedball. He's brilliant. But the match was really fucking good. I really don't want to undersell that. It was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. You could tell, like, the quality of the two wrestlers. They've got a great history with each other. Jake Doyle getting the win was big too. I was really happy about that, actually, in the sense of Jake Doyle's clearly going on a bit of a singles mission now. And seeing how it went for Mark Davis, it's good. It should, hopefully, touch wood, it works. I don't know if it will, but Jake Doyle's brilliant. I'm just happy about it overall. This is really good. Really good match. Really good. Just everything. Really enjoyed it. However, next we have our main event, which is the Death Riders, which is Claudio Castagnoli, PAC, Daniel Garcia, Jon Moxley, and Marina Shafir, versus Shane Taylor Promotions, which is Shane Taylor, Carlie Bravo, is it Charlie or Carlie Bravo? Shawn Dean, obviously Lee Moriarty, and Trish Adora? I don't know. I think it's Adora. This match was fun. It was a Cincinnati Street Fight. It was pure carnage and hell, as you expected, but Jesus, was it fun. It was really good. Obviously, I liked how it was split up between each of the, the wrestlers going out, like Moriarty and Garcia. Garcia looked great here, by the way. Moxley, this match makes you realise how fucking good Shane Taylor and Shane Taylor Promotions are. I've said it every time Shane Taylor's been on screen for the last few weeks. Just specifically the infantry, obviously Shawn Dean and Carlie Bravo, are just incredible. They're the stars. They're coming out in face paint and army helmets. They attack during the entrance, and it just works its way back in. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, Jesus, the strikes to Shane Taylor. Marina's getting involved a good bit. Once it gets back to the ring, it does get a bit better. Like, when it's a bit wild, it's hard to, kind of contain, obviously. What I do like is PAC's just at the start, you're just looking for someone to go out, because the infantry are both attacking Garcia, so it's like a 1-net. It's like, okay. So, when they get back to the ring, or around there, Shawn Dean goes up to McGuinness and goes, this is all you want, just really giving McGuinness shit. Moriarty's trying to bash him off. And I think it's Shawn Dean or Bravo, I forget which one. And they throw the water all over McGuinness, and McGuinness is pissed. So he takes the headset off, and then Moriarty's trying to break it up, obviously, because they've got that match at Ring of Honor, and a bit of respect for each other. And then Garcia's obviously there, and Garcia runs up and goes for the infantry, and ends up taking out McGuinness, which was cool. I like how McGuinness got involved. And then Garcia just looks down, and he goes, guy doesn't give a shit. I love that. If this was a reignition of Garcia and McGuinness' stuff, I'm a fan of that. But I like how, obviously, Shawn Dean, Carlie Bravo, just them two specifically. I mean, Jesus. The spot where they do the BBC, where they have them in the turnbuckle, and then, like the three of them, it's Shane Taylor, Adora, and Shane Taylor, and, one of the other, I forget which one it is, but they're doing, like, the speaking where they're going, yeah, and then Claudio's taking them down, taking the other one down on the turnbuckle, and they don't see it, and he's screaming, oh, guys, and they don't see him, and he put him through the table, and he just look back. Oh, it's funny as hell. It was so good. Claudio, he is really good. Bro, he fucking does he fucking lifts up Shane Taylor and slams his ass down. That was incredible. Shane Taylor's got the fucking brass knuckles. It was chaos. I do like how they teased for Shane Taylor to be giant swung by Claudio. That was pretty fun. And then they didn't do it, but then Adora goes in and Adora's chopping Claudio. And Claudio takes his mask off because he's wrestling in the lucha mask. And like she keeps doing it, and then he hands her one of his arms. Like forces it away. He doesn't hit her. Then Marina Shafir runs in, attacks her, and then she grabs Claudio's arms and puts them on and says, "Do the giant swing." Claudio does the giant swing to her, and she does the drop kick like Yuta would. That was really cool. That the Death Riders got that chemistry. I love the sequence where it's all of them going after like Moriarty, one by one by one by one. That was sick. They do obviously get isolated. Moxley's bleeding from the brass knuckles. Looks really cool. So's Marina. So's Garcia. Garcia's emotions are so good, bro. He's so good. What I like is they have Shafir basically captive on a road. I think it's because she went for the choke on Shane Taylor specifically. And Adora brings out a bag and she launches the bag out, and it's glass toy soldiers and tacks. Obviously, they take Marina's shoes off. It's like, whoa, what's going on? Then they slam Marina's feet on it, and then she rubs it in and kicks Adora. She's out. PAC's taken through a table. Oh, bro, Moxley. They didn't do the finish that I thought they would. Because Garcia eventually gets the deathlock on, I think it was on Shane Taylor. They do the finish on Shane Taylor, which was pretty cool. And Moxley eventually just does a Death Rider, which was incredible. It was a really good match. Easily match of the night. Easily. And it just shows how good just the Death Riders and Shane Taylor are. They're the biggest beneficiaries here. Like, I've seen people try and say Shane Taylor should have won here. I get it, but no. Like, they're elevated regardless of the result. Pro wrestling isn't about the results. It's not. It's about how they're presented. And, bro, Shane Taylor specifically himself is presented as a fucking just such a good worker. And obviously same with the infantry. Obviously we all know how good the Moriarty is. Adora didn't get that much time because Charlie XO or whatever her name is, she comes out because she comes out when Garcia's basically about to get a finish, and like she's trying to talk to Garcia, like giving him shit, and then Garcia puts the hands up, he's about to do the dance, he gets attacked. That was funny as hell. He's just, bro, Garcia's brilliant. I don't give a fuck. I love Danny Garcia. Like I said, Moxley does get the cut at the Death Rider, gets the win, and that's how they get the win for the night. Shane Taylor, come off this looking like fucking stars, though. Like, I mean, Jesus, I've said this every week. I need the infantry more involved on the tags, because they are incredible. Like, easily the fucking biggest stars here. Shane Taylor's great too, but I mean the infantry, oh my god, the charisma they two have. Oh, bro, they're stars. They're absolute stars in the making. Give them the push that you should have given, that you have given to fucking Private Party. The infantry is so much better. I do not care. They are incredible. Push them to the fucking moon. But as a match, for a Cincinnati Street Fight 2, pretty fucking fun. Easily match of the night. Great match to end a great Collision 2. I really enjoyed this match. Even Nigel McGuinness getting on the bumps and shit. I thought this was cool. I really enjoyed this. Didn't expect to enjoy it this much. Easily match of the night. Stole the night. Incredible. So yeah, that is my thoughts on Collision this week. I did like it. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was absolutely excellent. I thought there was some stuff that you could have done and some stuff they didn't. I feel like the Kenny match could have went a bit longer. I feel like that's my biggest criticism, that the Kenny match should have went a bit longer. You could have had a bit more Forbidden Door build. You don't get nothing with Ospreay, nothing with Swerve, which surprised me. I thought we'd get something with Swerve, at least a backstage. But I mean, the matches, specifically that Cincy Street Fight, was great. We still don't have nothing confirmed for the Death Riders for Forbidden Door, which is confusing. But overall, I like this. I like this Collision. It was easily better than Dynamite. Dynamite was kind of subpar this week. Really suffered. But they really, especially with the Athena stuff, that's like a great example. They made that work. They made that, and like, I'm genuinely excited for Maya Whale versus Athena, which I never thought I'd say. Like, shit like that. It's just, the Starlight Kid, that announcement, that was pretty cool. A lot of big shit. I really enjoyed this. Honestly, I thought it was a really good Collision. Better than Dynamite this week, 100%. And honestly, that Death Riders match was absolutely great. Even Jake Doyle versus Speedball, that's a great match. Shit like that. Really enjoyed this. It favours a lot more forward than I thought it would this week, which I liked. Honestly, solid ass Collision. Better than Dynamite. Again, I can't say that enough. Really good. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's Collision Summer Blockbuster this week. Let me know what you thought of the show. What was your thoughts on Starlight Kid being announced specifically? That's the big question of the week. And how do you think the Forbidden Door build's going so far? I thought this Collision made it feel a lot better than what it has been. It's been really good.